Hey everybody, I'm Graham Elwood. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. Since I did so many stories about the hurricanes in Texas and Florida, I said I was going to make how to put together your own disaster preparedness kit. And several of you have asked for it, so I'm going to do that now. We've also just had earthquakes in Mexico, which are pretty severe. We just had an earthquake here in Los Angeles. It was 3.6. Wasn't that bad, but it shook you up. So first of all, why would you need a disaster kit? So first of all, there's regional disasters. So if you live in an earthquake zone, you absolutely need to have one. There is a 100% probability that a 6.0 or greater earthquake is going to hit California. It's been over 20 years. It's coming. So a disaster like an earthquake, you need to be prepared for because there's no warning. A hurricane, obviously, there's warning, but as we've seen in Texas and Florida, they put out the announcement and then the stores are packed, there's lines for gas, and you don't know what to do. So the point of the disaster kit is when a disaster hits, and it might be a big one like an earthquake or a hurricane, but it might just be a fire, and you're without electricity, you're without food, you're without water, you lose everything. What do you do? So first of all, and I'll put the link below, you can go to redcross.org and just buy one. Or you can go to hardware stores and they just have like backpacks and they have a lot of stuff in them. Like there's a kit you can get for $24.95 and it's got a backpack, an emergency poncho, an emergency blanket, 2 hand warmers, emergency drinking water pouch, a light stick, a whistle with a cord. So why would you need a whistle? So let's say there's a disaster and you're stuck somewhere. You're still alive, but you can't get out and they're looking for you. You want a whistle because if you scream, you're going to eventually lose your voice. A whistle, you blow on it every 5-10 minutes. You make a sound, they can find you under the rubble. So that's what the point of the whistle is. A light stick to let people know where you're at and to use it for light as well. A breathing mask. I'll go into the detail of that. Vinyl gloves, hand sanitizer. All right. And so these are the things you can get. So you can just buy one for 25 bucks, whatever, which is fine. I suggest having one at your home, having one in your car, and having one where you work. Now, one thing I do is this is the backpack when I go work out. When I go to yoga, I ride my bike a lot. So what's in here is I got just one of these. A just real simple American Red Cross safety tube. It's got a dust mask, a whistle, a light stick, and a water pouch. And then I always make sure I've got like snacks and stuff in my bag and sunblock and stuff like that. So I want to show you though, if you're like, well, Graham, I don't have a lot of money. Some things you will need to put in your bag that you could just get from around your house. Like you could just take a backpack right now, if you had a backpack, and just go, what should I put in there? Well, just grab some cans of food, right? If you have an extra backpack or a duffel bag that you're just sitting in your closet, you're not using it, go right now and put some cans of food in there. Because here's the thing you got to understand. Think this way. You're not going to have electricity. You're not going to have a heat source. So what food can you store for a while that you could live on, right? Cans of food, granola bars, prepackaged stuff like that. Also, I would put a flashlight in there. Now, one thing you can do, this is a, mag light, hello. If it's gonna sit for a while, you can put a little piece of cardboard or paper between the battery and the light so the batteries aren't being drained, or you can just have unopened batteries right next to the flashlight so they don't drain or the batteries don't leak. But you're going to want a flashlight because, again, assume you won't have electricity. One of the things we have here in what I have next to my bed, and also you want to have, let me go through this too. If you wear glasses, have an extra set of glasses. Because again, assume a disaster is going to hit and you're going to just have the clothes on your back. What if it happens in the middle of the night? What if you're in your car and, you were driving to the beach and you got flip-flops and, you just lost your glasses? Have an extra set of glasses. Any medication that you definitely need, if you're a diabetic or whatever, have 3 to 5 days supplies. Think in terms of at least 3 days, food and water for each person. If you have a family of 2, 3, 4 people, enough food and water for every person for 3, and I would suggest try to get it up to 5 days. Medication. Also, first aid kits. First aid kit. These are important because, again, something breaks, glass, like at the hurricanes, these high winds, and you can get cut and whatever. The thing you got to understand, you're not going to have access. Think like you're not going to have access. You can't just pick up the phone and 911 and you're okay, and to the hospital. Everything's going to be maxed out. Everything's going to be unreachable. You might be stuck. You might be isolated. So a little cut can get bad and infected over 3 to 5 days if you're, and there's no drinkable clean water. That's why I recommend first aid kit. Again, just grab a bag, go through your house. Do you have some Band-Aids? Do you have some bandages? Hand sanitizer. You don't want to get sick. Or this, or hand wipes. If you want to get more severe or intense to build your thing up, you can get these. These are meals ready to eat. They're made for the military. You can buy them online. They're called MREs, meal ready to eat. I'll talk about food for a second. These aren't bad. I've eaten these in Iraq and Afghanistan. They're okay. Here's why I personally like having canned food and food I would normally eat, because you can buy this survivalist food. It's pre-wrapped food. It lasts for up to 5 years. Now that's fine, but then after 5 years you throw it away because it tastes nasty. And I try to rotate. I haven't been as good as this recently, but I am now because of seeing all these disasters. Get canned food, dried food with a date on it, and like every 6 months, rotate it. And at 6 months, the food hasn't gone bad, you just eat it the way you normally would. So you're not spending all this extra money on food you're going to throw away. Now, obviously, maybe your place of business, they give them to you, or if you buy them, they're going to have these meal kit things. That's fine. But buy food you'd like, because here's the thing you got to understand. It's going to be physically and mentally very stressful when you're in one of these. I've worked a lot of shelters, people that have lost their homes. It's just, think about it. Think about look around your home. Like I look around, this is my apartment. What if there was an earthquake and I had to get out of here and was like living in my car and all I had was a backpack? It would be stressful. I wouldn't have all of the comforts. So I try to put as many of those comforts in my disaster kit. Sunblock. Now, next to my bed, me personally, I have these and these masks. This are for if there's some type of fire and there's smoke. I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to put, that's the other thing. If there's a fire in your home or your apartment complex and you're woken up at 3 in the morning to a smoke detector beeping, you're going to be out of it. So again, I would have your glasses by the bed if you wear glasses, or an extra set of contacts or whatever, and put these on and this on and crawl out of there. This is also light sticks. I have these by my bed, and I have these gloves by my bed, because in a fire, stuff gets hot, and if you touch a door handle, your hand's going to be burned. And then I would have these to pick stuff on. I also would have these because, again, I live in an earthquake zone. If there's a big earthquake at 3 in the morning, everything's going to be broken, shattered. If you're in an earthquake zone, have a spare pair of shoes under your bed so that you can, when the earthquake's over, you can walk through your place. Me, I don't wear shoes in my house, so all my shoes are by the front door, except for my earthquake shoes that are under my bed. And I have air mask and I have a helmet. So those are the things I would highly, highly recommend. And again, you can go buy all this stuff online. You can go to a store and buy this. If you have the money to do that, great. But I would even put in your own personal stuff, you know. And think about an extra pair of sunglasses, sunblock, comfortable shoes. I'd put comfortable shoes in your car. I go surfing a lot, and a lot of times I'm just in flip-flops. What if an earthquake hits and I'm driving up the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, and the roads are blocked off, and I gotta walk 3-4 miles? That's gonna be awful in flip-flops. So I have a pair of comfortable shoes and socks. Also, in your car, I would think about too, having warm clothing. Have a blanket. If you live in places where it's in the north and it's really cold in the winter, what if a massive snowstorm and you're stuck in your car? So Think about comfortable clothing. Think about also in your car, you can put plastic trash bags. Where are you going to go to the bathroom? Stuff like that's kind of nasty to think about. But what if you're just stuck in your car, living in your car for 3 or 4 days and there aren't facilities and you got to go to the bathroom outside? Kleenex, all that stuff, hand sanitizer. It's kind of nasty. You don't want to think about it, but you need to have it. So, and again, a minor first aid kit and a guide and things you can get. So I'm looking at this, everything that's on this Red Cross site. Again, the Red Cross, if you go to redcross.org and the link is below, you can see how you can get an idea. You can even just look at their disaster kits and go, oh, okay, I can just make this myself. But my thinking is always something is better than nothing. You can just, if you have a thermos like this, fill this full of water, put this in the trunk of your car with some canned food and some first aid supplies and a flashlight and a pair of comfortable shoes and comfortable clothing. You know, like if you're a woman and you're out, let's say you're out at night in the town, fancy dress, fancy shoes, that's not going to be, you don't want to walk around in that for 3 to 5 days. So put some stuff in a bag right now. As soon as this video is over, you're already a step ahead of the game. And then as you go, as whatever your financial situation is, you can build on that. I have a case of bottled water in the back of my car. I have a case of bottled water up here in my fridge that I don't use. That's not drinking water. I rotate it every 6 to 8 months, but that's the water that I have set aside for a disaster. Let me say this too. If your electricity goes out and you're able to stay in your home, don't keep opening up your fridge. Every time you do this, you lose the cool in there. So eat the perishable good food first. Don't waste any food. And assume, the other thing too, a big thing that happens in earthquake country is gas lines break. No candles, no lights. That is one of the biggest things that happened after the 1994 Northridge quake, was people lighting candles, and that was the second most, the second biggest cause of injuries and fatalities from the earthquake was people lighting candles and blowing up because gas lines broke. Now, most homes, legally, you have to have an automatic gas shutoff valve, most apartment but you never know. So that's why I wouldn't have candles in an earthquake zone, because gas lines can break. So flashlights, first aid kits, fire supplies, and you can start building this slowly. When you have a little money, you can go to the hardware store and buy this stuff, and a whistle, a compass, you know, because remember, your phone's going to be dead. We rely on our phones for everything, GPS, calling people, everything. You're not going to have that. Get a paper map. And also, if you have a family or loved ones, have a pre-designed meeting place. Let's say our neighborhood gets taken out from whatever, a fire, a flood, an earthquake, a hurricane, whatever. We're going to meet at this park that's like a mile or 2 away. So your whole family's spread out, the disaster hits, none of your phones work, you can't go back home, where do we go? Your family all meets at this park or a place like that. Now you had a plan in place. Disaster kit for your home, these supplies by your bed. Also, if you live in an earthquake zone, maybe have a crowbar under your bed, because if things start falling and you can't get it open, you can use a crowbar to get yourself out of there. I even have a ladder that goes out if you're in a second story, that goes out my window so I can get out of there. All those things, that stuff starts to add up, and I get that. That's why slowly get it. Start small, first aid kit, water, basic medical supplies, food. This is Graham Elwood, the political vigilante. Thank you for watching this show. Be prepared, stay safe, and go to redcross.org. If you like the videos here, guys, like and subscribe. Go to the Patreon link below, patreon.com/Graham Elwood. It's a great way to support the show so I can do more videos like this.